Hey y'all, I'm back today with another word. I don't really have a full put together word, but God, wow. I took my kids to the beach yesterday because they were out. Their school they go to a little private Christian school, and they don't run on the same schedule as like the public schools do, so they kind of have their own thing going on. But I didn't realize how sunburned my face was until now. Lordy mercy. Like, I do this a lot, or like I just have a lot of facial expressions that always causes this line, but I even like you can see the Lordy mercy. But anyways, they were out of school yesterday because they were doing some sort of like electrical work or something on the school. So they had the day off. And so I took them to the beach because they found out that I went to the beach last weekend. And so they wanted to go. They were upset with me. You know, if you share custody with your kid's parents, or your kid's other parent, if y'all share custody, you know, you might know how that goes, how, you know, they go to their other parent's house for the weekend or for their time schedule or whatever, and then they find out you went and did stuff without them. God forbid you go do something by yourself. They're like, I want to go. So anyways, I took them and we really enjoyed the day there together. They had a lot of fun, and it kind of made up for spring break because spring break did not go so well. So anyways, yeah. Aside from that, I am in some notes that God took me back to from last year, in August of last year. And this is actually going to be referencing Samson. Samson. And to start with, when I was in the world, I used to listen to Drake. So I kind of knew the song, but God brought it to my attention multiple times this week. And it's called Shot for Me. And for whoever this is for, your spouse may be sort of angry because, well, I'm going to get into it. So it says, hold on. My cat is rudely just scraping his litter box. He's done that since I got him when he was a kitten, like this tiny. He just jumped straight in the litter box for no reason, doesn't even have to use the bathroom, and just, like, he can't have the litter in the box. It has to be outside the box. He makes the biggest mess I've ever seen with litter for no reason. He just gets in there and starts scraping. Like, he needs a sandbox outside, like a child to play in. Anyways. It says, I can see it in your eyes, you're angry. Regret got on what you're feeling now. Mad because he ain't like me. Oh, you mad because nobody ever did it like me. They are kind of just sitting in a place of being angry, you know, almost angry at themselves. They're feeling regrets, you know. They're really feeling it now. And it's, you know, when you go through the emotions of certain things, when certain things hit you, you go through multiple different emotions, right? And one of those emotions is anger. When certain things hit you, you know, even like a breakup, you'll go through sadness, you'll go through bits, and, you know, it's just random. Sometimes you feel angry about it. Sometimes you feel sad. Oh my gosh. Sorry. But they are feeling angry, because this is not the only song that has stood out to me about anger, just feeling angry. And so, you know, they might be, it says mad because he ain't like me, you know, mad because they're not like you. Maybe they went off and, I don't know, this could be with, they may have been looking for you in someone else, or, you know, when prodigals are running around doing whatever, I know a lot of y'all have dealt with this. I didn't deal with this, but you deal with your spouse going and you know, dating other people, and because they're running from God at the end of the day. They're running from God. They're running from the calling on their life. And so it's like they go chasing after anything but what God has for them, right? So, but God allows this. God allows this. And kind of like with Samson and Delilah, which I'll get into, we see where that Delilah got him, right? And this could be friends even, like they may have went off and were entertaining friends, anything but you, right? Putting other people above you and in front of you, right? And now they're just mad that they did any of the things that they've done, right? Putting other people before you, entertaining other people. They're mad at themselves, right? They're regretting what they've done. So it says, I can see it in your eyes. You're angry. Regret got on what you're feeling now. Mad because seeing it like me. Oh, you mad because nobody ever did it like me. All the care I would take, all the love that we made. And, there was a lot of that. You did, you cared for them. You cared for them probably better than anybody else ever has in their life, right? It says, now you're trying to find somebody to replace what I gave to you. It's a shame you didn't keep it. And like I said, maybe they have done that, tried to replace you and look for you and other people or other things. It doesn't even have to be people, right? But they're not going to find it. They will never find it. And then it says, the way you walk, that's me. The way you talk, that's me. The way you got your hair up, did you forget? That's me. And the voice in your speaker right now, that's me. That's me. And the voice in your ear, that's me. Basically, the way that God showed me that, you're so prominent in their life. You're everywhere that they look, right? The way you walk, that's me. Maybe the way that you were showing them your walk, right? And how to be more like Christ-like even, like to be more, they start doing things, or they had started doing things maybe that you had taught them. You rubbed off on them certain things that you did, right? So it's like, or maybe even things that you may have, spoken to them. The voice in your ear, that's me. Like everywhere, even their hair, it says the way you got your hair up, did you forget? That's me. Like maybe even like the way that I don't even know how to put into words the way that this speaks to me, but like you're everywhere, right? You're in everything. Like you're just there. You're everywhere they look. It's like, dang, you're there. And so it says you're wasted with your ladies. Yeah, I'm the reason why you're always getting faded. Faded, like drunk, high, like trying to forget, the way that they cope with things. Maybe that's how they have coped with things, is drinking, getting high, like trying to avoid things. And God's working on all of this though. He's delivering them from that. Like that's not something that God has for them, right? So they may do that now. They may have done that in the past, but there will come a time that they will no longer participate in those things. And then it says, okay, look, I'm honest. Girl, I can't lie, I miss you. Or boy, right? Because this is coming from the standing spouse's perspective. It says, you and the music were the only things that I'd commit to. You and whatever it is that you did in your life, ministry, whatever, those were your commitments. Your commitments were them and whatever God was having you to do, your assignment, right? It says, I never cheated, for the record, back when I was with you, but you believed in everything but me. I don't get you. And maybe that's the case. They were believing in lies about you, right? And that could be from other. Those lies could be spoken from other people literally around them, speaking lies on you, friends, or it could just be, the enemy speaking lies into their ear, right? Using their past, using their insecurities and stuff to speak lies into them, to try to twist you to being like people of their past, maybe, or just someone that you are not, right? The enemy took certain situations, took their insecurities and fed them lies and twisted things, right? And manipulated things and manipulated them into believing stuff. And maybe they did believe that maybe you were cheating on them. I don't know. Maybe you're in a long distance relationship and they have had people cheat on them in the past, right? And so they're kind of used to that. And long distance even is like really, it takes a lot of trust to trust someone in a long distance relationship, right? And maybe they believe that you, because of their past and the way that people did them, you were doing them the same way. And that they allowed the enemy to come in their ear maybe and feed them false information like that and paint you in a picture that, is not you. And so it says, but you believed in everything but me. I don't get you. Yeah. They, and you may have told them like, that's not who I am. And, da, 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 da. But they didn't believe, they believed in everything around them. Right. And that could even be like, I'm not gonna lie, like there's these dang podcasts that are out now of these like prideful, super prideful, arrogant men that get on these podcasts and just, maybe they're listening to certain music that is prideful. It's just a lot of things in their ear, right? And they believed in all this stuff. But the one thing they didn't believe in was you and your truth, right? And then it says, she says, I know you changed. So the spouse saying like, I know you changed. I never see you because you're always busy doing things. And then he says, I really wish she had a different way of viewing things. I think the city that we're from just kind of ruined things. It's such a small place, not much to do but talk and listen. The men are jealous and the women all in competition. And now your friends are telling you stories that you often misinterpret. Again, like listening to other ears, listening to everybody but you and God, right? Which is where the truth lies. The real truth. It says, and taint all your images of Mr. Perfect. Again, these outside ears, like these podcasts, the music, the secular music, all this stuff is just painted with pride. And it just makes people, when you listen to these things and you listen to the worldly view, the worldly perspectives and views of things and how things should be done, you completely miss how things should truly, how to really love and how to forgive and how to, all those things, all that comes with Christ. And so it's like they've been listening to the wrong things. And that's why there's been such a discord, why there's been such a disconnect, right? Both of you have been on different, unequally yoked, right? You're doing things the way Christ does, and they're doing things the way that the world does and sees things, right? Which the way that the world does is typically built on selfishness, pride, ego, all that. So it says, I could tell that you've been crying all night, drinking all summer, praying for your happiness. I can tell that you've been crying all night, drinking all summer. Maybe that's what they have been doing as of lately, just crying a lot, drinking all summer. That could just be them not necessarily drinking, but just trying to find ways to cope with the pain of things. It says, praying for your happiness, hope that you recover, which, is what you should be praying for them, as led by God. And so that's that song. And, Now, with all the sadness and the anger and such, the emotions, right? God is about to be bringing them to a happy place, right? Delivering good news to them, bringing them the good news, right? And I had like someone the other day, literally, he was like one of the special needs workers at Publix, and he looked at me and he was so happy. He's like, he was just smiling at me with the biggest smile I've ever seen, and he's like, "Are you happy?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Are you happy?" He's like, "Yeah." and then my daughter the other night was like, "I'm so happy," right? And then this notes that God brought me back to from August 28th of last year. It says, it was like mine and my spouse's initials, and it said "drive home happy." And then I had seen like my spouse's name, right? It said "start your day happy." And this took me to Samson. And so I'm just going to read Judges starting at chapter 16 and going down to verse 4. So Samson and Delilah. It says, Samson fell in love with a woman named Delilah. She lived in the valley of Sorek, I think, maybe. I don't know, probably not. The kings of the Philistines went to Delilah. They said, "Try to figure out what makes Samson so strong. Try to trick him into telling you. Find out how we could capture him and tie him up." And so, if I'm not mistaken, Delilah was a prostitute, yeah? And so, maybe not, but I think so. And it says, "If you do this, each of us will give you 28 pounds of silver." So Delilah said to Samson, "Tell me why you are so strong. How could someone tie you up and take control of you?" Samson answered, "Someone would have to tie me up. He would have to use 7 bowstrings that would have not been dried. If he did that, I would be as weak as any other man." Then the kings of the Philistines brought 7 new bowstrings to Delilah. They had not been dried, and she tied Samson with them. Some men were hiding in another room. Delilah said to Samson, "Samson, the Philistines are about to capture you." But Samson easily broke the bowstrings. They broke like pieces of string burned in a fire. So the Philistines did not find out the secret of Samson's strength. Then Delilah said to Samson, "You made me look foolish. You lied to me. Please tell me, how could someone tie you up?" Samson said, "They would have to tie me with new ropes that would have not been used before, and then I would be as weak as any other man." So Delilah took new ropes and tied Samson. Some men were hiding in another room, and then she called out to him, "Samson, the Philistines are about to capture you." But he broke the ropes as easily as if they were threads. And then Delilah said to Samson, "Until now you have made me look foolish. You have lied to me. Tell me how someone could tie you up." He said, "Use the loom. Weave the 7 braids of my hair into the cloth, tighten them with a pin, and then I will be as weak as any other man." Then Samson went to sleep, so Delilah wove 7 braids of his hair into cloth, and then she fastened them with a pin. Again she called out to him, "Samson, the Philistines are about to capture you." Samson woke up and pulled up the pin and the loom with the cloth. Then Delilah said to him, How can you say I love you when you don't even trust me? This is the 3rd time you've made me look foolish. You haven't told me the secret of your great strength." She kept bothering Samson about his secret after day, and he became so tired of how it felt he was going to die. So he told her everything. He said, "I have never had my hair cut, and I have been set apart to God as a Nazarite since I was born. If someone shaved my head, then I would lose my strength and I would become as weak as any other man." Delilah saw that he had told her everything sincerely, so she had sent a message to the kings and Philistines. She said, "Come back one more time. He has told me everything." So the kings of the Philistines came back to Delilah, and they brought the silver that they had promised to give her. Delilah got Samson to go to sleep. He was lying in her lap, Then she called in a man to shave the 7 braids of Samson's hair. It says, and Samson's strength left him. Then she called out to him, Samson, the Philistines are about to capture you. He woke up and thought, I'll get loose as I did before and shake myself free. But he did not know that the Lord had left him. Then the Philistines captured Samson. They tore out his eyes and they took him down to Gaza, and they put bronze chains on him, and they put him in prison and made him grind grain. But his hair began to grow again. So, like, that's kind of what the spouses, right? God pretty much, it was almost like a humbling that had to happen, right? They decided to, they kind of have experienced betrayal, right? By these people, going back to the song Shot for Me, right? It says, mad because they ain't like me. Oh, you're mad because nobody ever did it like me, right? The things that they turned to and put above you, right? Kind of ended up turning around to be a Delilah. And this could be anything. It doesn't have to be someone they were seeing. It could be their friends. It could be their workplace, whatever it is that they've put in front of you. That thing ended up being a betrayal to them, just like Delilah was to Samson, right? And God temporarily left them, which is when, well, he never really left them, but he took his covering off of them, right? And that's when they just, everything, crap hit the fan, right? For them, and the judgment and all of the things, right? And so now the aftermath of that is like, they're sitting here realizing everything. And, another thing, the hair was like, Samson's hair was his strength, right? Which was God's covering. It represented God's covering. And so God removed that covering. And so it's like they realize now where their strength comes from. It's really not within themselves. It's a pride thing that they hold themselves to, right? Someone elevate ministry, or I think that's what she posted just a few days ago about spouses who are hyper independent. And so the hyper independent spouses, they put a lot of pride in themselves and their work. And so God has to tear that down, right? And they have to realize where their strength actually comes from, because it's not with themselves, right? Within themselves. It's God's strength that makes them strong. And so they kind of had to feel temporarily what that felt like to be removed, right? And so because they're they've come out of this place of realizing who you are, who God is, and the betrayal that they just experienced with whatever it was that they put before you, whether that's work, friends, another person, they're feeling it. And they're mad. Like, they're mad at themselves, and they're mad. But there is, and the other day I had seen Oh Happy Day. There's like a happy God. Oh, hold on. There is actually another song that goes along with this. It's called Standing Room Only by Tim McGraw. And it says, I get so mad at things that don't matter way too much. That's funny, because going back to anger, they really there's an emphasis on anger. And I seen some physical evidence of this anger too. Like in the eyes, right? I get so mad at things that don't matter way too much. They might focus on things and get aggravated at things that just are irrelevant and don't matter at the end of the day, right? They haven't had this focus on the things that really do truly matter. They've been focused in tunnel vision to all of this stuff that is completely irrelevant, that has caused such a downfall and separation in a sense. because there's just, that goes to things where they're holding on to unforgiveness. They're, it says, I let the way back winds and my old friends scatter like they were dust. I get to chase in that rainbow pot of gold right into the pouring rain with nothing to show for it, standing there soaking wet with nothing to show for it. Because of the things that they've been so focused on, they haven't been focused on the things of God, God's will, God's plan, the important things in life. They've been so focused on other things outside of that they've missed it, right? Like they go to chasing the pot at the end of the rainbow, right? They're trying to get to that gold. They're trying to get to that success, to say that they did it, to accomplish things, right? But they've got nothing to show for it. There's no relationship. There's no marriage. There's no family. There's no, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing of God, because they've been chasing everything but that. They've been focused on everything but that. And now they're standing there with nothing to show for. And that's really sad. It really is sad, because they've had the answers in front of them the entire time, right? I mean, God's opening their eyes though, and he's doing work and, pulling this thing together. But, and it says standing there soaking wet, like they've just been drenched in this pouring rain, right? This storm, and they, it feels like they've got nothing to show. Looking up, shaking my fist as the thunder rolls. Anger. They're so angry because they've come to this place like they thought they had the things, right? The Delilah, right? The job. They thought that they had everything together. They thought they were going somewhere. But because they were so focused on the things God was not trying to get them to focus on, it didn't accomplish anything for them, right? They haven't accomplished anything with it. And so now they're angry. They're like, man, I've been through all this stuff. I've done all these things. I've worked my butt off. And I got nothing to show for it. It says, now and then on nights like this, I catch a thunderbolt. I want to live a life like a dollar and on the clock on the wall don't own me. Like a dollar and the clock on the wall don't own me. I want to live a life like a dollar and the clock on the wall don't own me. That's speaking to me like they want to live a life of freedom, right? And here's the thing. I'm going to speak on it myself. Like I'm living a life of freedom right now. Because I'm living in God's will, and God's will in Jesus Christ brings you freedom that the world can't bring you. And they've been so focused on the things of the world, right? And not the things in Jesus. And when you're walking in your purpose in Christ, it comes with freedom, like true freedom. And it's like, you got to unlock that. You got to unlock that wisdom and that knowledge, right? And walk in it. And God's bringing them into that, right? They are going, and he's already prophesied that to me. Like they are going to walk in freedom and start experiencing what childlike faith feels like and looks like. And they're going to start experiencing like freedom, but true freedom. So worldly freedom's like you got to work your butt off and slave to a job and just spend your days working a 9-to-5, slaying to work and not even having time for your family. And that's what the world tells you have to do. That's not freedom. You're a slave to the world and the things of the world when you live like that. But when you live for Christ and you live in the purpose, God's purpose for your and plan and purpose for your life, when you're living in that, you experience so much freedom, right? And it's like the worldly people around me, the worldly family members, everyone, nobody understands me right now and like what I'm doing. I even have family that thinks I'm doing OnlyFans. I found that out the other day. They think I'm doing OnlyFans because I'm like, I work for God, darling. I don't work for OnlyFans. Just because I am being taken care of by God doesn't mean I have to be doing OnlyFans. It blew my mind. I'm like, wow, is that really where we're at? Like, like, wow.